Today, we're threading three live wires: Hamilton's renewed belief at Ferrari and what that means for 2026, Red Bull's still open second seat with Tsunoda under pressure and Hadjar circling, and Verstappen's title push suddenly resembling one of the great comebacks. Think Kimi Räikkönen in 2007. Buckle up and stay to the end. Let's start with what Lewis Hamilton actually said after Austin. The Ferrari driver called it one of his more complete weekends of the year, and crucially said he's finally feeling on top of the car. That's not a throwaway line. It's the kind of phrase Hamilton uses when the driver-car bond is clicking. He talked about extracting more from the package and carrying momentum forward. Words that sounded a lot like belief, not survival. Independent outlets echoed it. Hamilton felt more at one with the Ferrari and pointed to teamwork and communication, improving as the team looks ahead to the regulation reset. In short, it wasn't a podium, but it was a turning of the mood. Why does that matter? Because next year, 2026, rips up the rulebook. The FIA's new regs mean lighter, narrower cars, big hybrid energy changes, and aero philosophy shifts aimed at better racing. When Hamilton talks about extracting more now and building habits, he's really speaking to 2026 readiness. The teams that learn fast will cash in early. Ferrari have been public about using the final races of 2025 to refine operations and driver car understanding, exactly the stuff that matters when the lights go out on a brand new formula. Hamilton's cautious welcome of the 2026 concept, even with concerns about speed, harsh weight, frames it perfectly. Make the tools fit the hands, and the hands will do the rest. If Ferrari carry this trajectory into winter, Hamilton fighting for the 2026 title isn't fantasy, it's a plan. Meanwhile, Austin redrew the present tense championship. Verstappen was immaculate, sprint pole and win, Grand Prix pole and win, and he cut Oscar Piastri's lead to 40 points. Remember, at the end of August, he was 104 behind. 3 wins in 4 races later, it's a three-way knife fight again. McLaren still own the Constructors' title, but wins plus calm is better than drama plus pace in a run-in, and Max just put both together. Now, clock the subplots at Red Bull. The second seat for next year is still warm. Yuki Tsunoda's point haul hasn't matched expectations since his promotion. Isaac Hadjar's stock has climbed all season with mature drives for the sister team. Depending on which paddock voice you trust, the 2026 decision is trending toward a Tsunoda-Hadjar shootout. Some outlets say Hadjar is highly likely to be promoted. Others remind us he hasn't signed anything, and that Red Bull tend to decide late. That's the truth as of now. The door's open, the pressure is on, and Hadjar's case is getting stronger by the month, even if no pen has hit paper. So how do these threads meet on track? Start with McLaren. When teammates are both title live, you need Sundays without internal drag. Austin gave us the opposite, a sprint collision that dumped both papayas out. Then a Grand Prix where Lando Norris had to fight through Charles Leclerc while Oscar Piastri labored to P5. That split is everything. McLaren's pace is still immense, but the cost of scrapping each other is leaving Verstappen room to breathe and attack. Reuters put the math in neon. 5 rounds to go, plus 2 sprints. Piastri plus 14 over Norris and pleasant 40 over Verstappen. The gap was 104 not long ago. This is what a comeback looks like. Quick pit lane stop. If you love this kind of inside the paddock storytelling, hit subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments. Does Ferrari's late season upswing make Hamilton a real 2026 title threat? And who should Red Bull pick? Tsunoda or Hadjar? Your take fuels the next deep dive. Back to the big picture. Hamilton's optimism matters for more than Ferrari's morale. It changes how rivals plan 2026. A confident Hamilton plus a tidier Ferrari puts pressure on McLaren and Red Bull to nail their winter. And for Red Bull, the teammate choice next to Verstappen isn't just a human resources story. It's a competitive lever. If you're plotting title defense in a new rule set, you need a wingman who scores heavy and steals strategic options from rivals. That's the Hadjar argument. Fearless, fast learning, low baggage. The Tsunoda argument. Experience in Red Bull. Systems. Honda familiarity, though Ford is incoming. And raw pace on Sundays when the car sings. The point is, the seat isn't just a seat. It's the second half of Max's weapon. And speaking of Max's weapon, the comeback. How close is this to Kimi 2007? Consider the parallels. Back then, the Ferrari driver had to grind from a big deficit against a two-car McLaren phalanx, convert every sniff of opportunity, and bring it home under absurd pressure. Lists of the greatest title turnarounds always include Kimi's 07 charge. From the USGP onward, he was relentless and won it by a single point. Max's short-term math is different, but the rhythm is familiar. String wins, keep the radio, calm. Turn chaos to your advantage and make the leader feel you breathing. If he pulls this off from 104, it's automatically in the comeback pantheon. Where does Ferrari slot into the end of 2025 run-in? Quietly better, Hamilton called Austin a step toward being on top of the car, and Leclerc fought Norris hard for P2 before yielding late. That tells you straight line and tire life were in a happier window. Useful traits for Mexico and Abu Dhabi. Ferrari won't decide this title, but they can absolutely shape it. Nick a podium from a McLaren here, hold Verstappen at bay there, and the points funnel changes. More importantly, every clean weekend builds the muscle memory Hamilton wants when the 26 cars roll out. Let's look ahead without getting lost in tech. 2026 means smaller, lighter cars and a different energy balance. Drivers who adapt quickly and teams that communicate crisply will win early. That's why Hamilton's phrasing matters. Extract more. Build relationships. Communication. It's the language of a driver preparing a team for a reset. The same is true at Red Bull. Whoever sits next to Max needs to be plug and play in a new world. If the decision is Hadjar, it's a bet on upside. If it's Tsunoda, it's betting that familiarity and experience convert to points when the ground moves. Either way, the choice will say a lot about Red Bull's 2026 risk appetite. Back in the present, Austin was a vibes check. Verstappen was serene. Norris was ferocious. Piastri was subdued. Hamilton was upbeat. Each of those states has consequences. A serene Max wins boring races, the kind that bury title hopes. A ferocious Norris keeps McLaren's ceiling high, but raises the risk of stepping on Oscar's toes. A subdued Piastri is dangerous. He tends to bounce back with clean, high-yield Sundays. An upbeat Hamilton is the most interesting of all, because it hints at Ferrari doing the one thing they've needed most: stringing weekends together. So, do we get a Kimi-level twist? The calendar gives Verstappen a shot. Mexico rewards launch discipline and patience. Brazil is a chaos generator. Vegas is a tire warm-up mind game. Qatar and Abu Dhabi are rhythm and strategy tests. He doesn't need to win them all. He needs to keep winning the weekends. If McLaren keeps slicing points off each other while Ferrari siphon the odd podium, the math stays friendly for blue. If McLaren lock arms and Ferrari spike, the door narrows. That's why Austin mattered. It showed the script that makes a comeback real. And then there's the winter. Hamilton's remarks weren't about a final 5 races miracle. They were about foundation. Ferrari no titles don't start in March. They start in October when you fix the small stuff and keep the driver smiling. A content, Hamilton is lethal over a long season, especially with a rules reset. File that next to Red Bull's wingman, Riddle and McLaren's internal balancing act, and you have next year's headline already writing itself.